Good evening, sir. I'm Kishore. I'm reading the book, sir. Ismat's Eid. Ismat's Eid. Ismat the shoemaker had been very busy. Tomorrow was Eid. All day people had been trying out new shoes and now they were all sold out. Said Ismat. At last I can go and buy some gifts for my family. He closed his little shoe stall and walked down to the cloth shop. Assalamu alaikum, Abza, Ismat greeted the shopkeeper. I want to buy my wife a burqa for my Eid. For Eid. Walaikum salam, replied Hamza. I have just the one for her and perhaps dupatta for my mother. How about this one? Said Hamza, pulling out new bright blue cloth embroidered with tiny beads and some bangles for my daughter. Hamza showed Ismat hundred of bangles. It was very hard to choose. They were all sold out. They were also pretty. Ismat was pleased with the gifts. He paid Hamza and turned to leave. Wait, called Hamza. What about you? Your trousers are full of patches. Why don't you buy yourself a new pair? Perhaps I will, said Ismat. But when they looked, they found only one pair of trousers. Ismat held them up to his waist, 4 fingers too long, he said. He pulled on his beard and then looked up at Hamza with a smile. Could you shorten them for me, please? I'm so sorry, replied Hamza. Not today. I have to get ready for Eid. Why don't you ask your wife? That's good idea, nodded Ismat and hurried home. This is beautiful, exclaimed Yasmin when she saw the burqa. I love the color. I will wear it for Eid. Then she looked at Ismat and said, Did you get anything for yourself? Yes, said Ismat, a pair of trousers. Yasmin held up the trousers and frowned. These are 4 fingers too long, she said. Yes, said Ismat. Could you shorten them for me, please? Could you shorten them for me? Not today, she replied. I have no time. Tomorrow is Eid and I have to make biryani for my biryani. Why don't you ask your mother? Ismat went to see his mother Habiba. Amma, I have brought you a gift, he said, and pulled out the new bright blue dupatta. This is beautiful, exclaimed Habiba. I love the color. I will wear it for Eid. Then she looked at Ismat and said, Did you get anything for yourself? Yes, said Ismat, a pair of trousers. Habiba held up the trousers and frowned. These are 4 fingers too long, she said. Yes, said Ismat. Could you shorten them for me? Not today, said his mother. I have no time. Tomorrow is Eid and I have to make sheer kurma. Why don't you ask? Why don't you ask Marjabin? Ismat went to see his daughter Majabin. I have brought you a gift, said Ismat. He pulled out the bangles. They are beautiful, Abu Mahajabin exclaimed. I love the colors. I will wear them for Eid. Then she looked at her father and asked, Did you get anything for yourself? Yes, he replied, a pair of trousers. Majabin held up the trousers and frowned. Abu, these are 4 fingers too long, she said. Yes, said Ismat, could you shorten them for me? I'm sorry, Abu, not today, said Majabin. I have no time. Tomorrow is Eid, and I have to make samosas and take care of the baby. So Ismat went back home, took a pair of scissors and cut off a few inches from the bottom of his trousers. Then he hemmed up the edges. My trousers are ready for Eid, he said, and folded them neatly and placed them on the table. Then he called to Yasmin and said he was going to visit the poor and sick and give them money for Eid. While Ismat was out, Yasmin said to herself, Ismat is such a good husband. She unfolded his trousers, cut off 4 fingers from the bottom, hemmed the edges, folded them again, and put them back on the table. Then she went into the kitchen to finish her cooking. While Habiba was making shir kurma, she thought, Oh, Ismat is such a good son. So she went to Ismat's house, took his trousers, cut off 4 fingers from the bottom, hemmed the edges, folded them again, and put them back on the table. Then she went back home to finish her cooking. While Mahajabin was making samosas, she thought, Abu is such a good father. So she went to her father's house, picked up the trousers, cut off 4 fingers from the bottom, hemmed the edges, unfolded trousers again, put them back on the table. Then she went back home to finish her cooking. In the morning, everyone came to Ismat's house so they could go to the mosque together. Yasmin wore her burqa, Habiba wore her bright blue dupatta, and Marjabin wore her pretty bangles. Ismat said, Yasmin, try on your trousers. Just then Habiba came in. Sons, she said, try on your trousers. Marjabin came along too. Abu, she said, try on your trousers. Ismat looked at them and thought, they are so wonderful, even they didn't have time to shorten my trousers. They are still very wonderful. He went to his room, put on his trousers. His wife and mother and daughter all waited with big smiles on their face. Suddenly from the bedroom came a howl. Oh, ya Allah! Oh, ya Allah! What happened? Cried Yasmin. What's matter? Cried Habiba. What's wrong? Cried Majabin. Ismat stepped out of his room. His new Eid trousers hung up to his knees. Yasmin and Habiba and Majabin all gasped, covered their mouths.